So Steve, tell us about what we're trying here. So we're starting off with Hui Hui.
Yep. Yeah, so our goal is to make people blown away that rum can be this good.
Right.
And not much more than they ever expected. And then B, we want to create one rum for every cocktail, every occasion. So no matter what you like to drink, we got a rum that you can make that drink at least match, but we think probably better with. Certainly more interesting. So for example, light cocktail rum. So we created Hui Hui. Hui in Hawaiian means a group. Hui Hui means now the group is actually better because it's a group. So if you're a sailor, that's cool because Hui Hui is a constellation of stars. A star is cool to look at, but when you have a constellation of stars, it's a pattern that you can use for navigation. That's pretty useful. So that's why we call this Hui Hui. And like Trader Vic said, with his Mai Tai rum, 3 rums do what 1 rum can't. So we've got 3 different rums in here that we've created in order to create this cocktail rum. We start with a light rum from the Caribbean. It's actually a couple different rums that we create our base with. And that could be a typical just killer light cocktail rum that somebody might be super proud with. That's our base. Give it body, right? The base is like the skeleton. To give it some body, like are we going to have it be muscular? Is it going to be lean? Is it going to be long? Is it going to be tough? We use our agricole. So ironically, I call it rum flavored rum. And that's ironic because most rum is actually flavored with not rum. And so
that's a valid point right there. That is valid, yeah.
So what we do is we put our agricole, a smaller portion of our agricole in here, and then we also get a little teeny bit of agricole that we get from Martinique, which is where rum agricole started from. So it's both a nod to them, as well as their agricoles tend to be a little bit more grassy and spicy, whereas ours are sort of juicy and rounder. Mm-hmm. So we use that sort of spicy for this like lime peel, clean little brightness at the end. So this
percentages on it. I know.
Can't tell you the percentage.
Oh, I thought you.
We tell you almost everything.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it broke it down by like so many parts. I couldn't remember.
It gets pretty close, but you know.
Okay, that's all good.
You got to give it something. But that is a good point. I mean, we like to like full disclosure. We want people to actually know, ask these questions, and be able to get answers, except the proprietary stuff. So
this is 40%.
Yeah, we serve it at 40%. And this is actually priced and designed to be premium well. So bar programs can get this for like less than $1.
So one of the things I thought was really interesting. So we've been here for a few days in Kona. We've stopped off at several different bars and restaurants and ABC stores and stuff. One of the things that I thought was really cool is finding your rums in so many of the different places.
That's great.
You know, and in fact, stopped off at a couple of places. They didn't have any of the big Bacardi, Captain. I mean, it's like at this bar, they didn't even have that. Yeah. You know, they had yours along with some others, and it's like, wow, this is really cool. You know, I was kind of blown away by that. I thought you must be really proud of that fact.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely we are. And to be honest, that's where that hard choice, easy life thing comes in.
Yeah.
Because it's a hard choice to decide you're going to have your own farm and be a distiller and blend.
Right.
Because that's everything you can do in the spirits world. And many distilleries aren't any of those. It's totally valid business model, and I buy this stuff myself and like it, where you're buying it from a big distiller, and they'll custom distill exactly what you want. Right. They got great machine, it's a beautiful product,
right.
But you don't have to recreate all this stuff. So that's, but we don't do that. We made it as hard as we possibly could. But we go all the way, literally from growing soil to serving Mai Tais.
It's so cool.
Because that's like the Hawaii way of doing things. You just if you're not doing it all yourself, you can't. So, but the result of that's a super hard choice. The products become wonderful. So, Beverage Tasting Institute gave this 94 points, and it remains the highest rated unaged white rum they've ever reviewed.
That is awesome.
And that's what we're looking for. So this is a great
cocktail
rum.
You got to be incredibly proud of yourself and everything that you've
Well, not myself, everybody that does all the work. So I'm proud of them for making this awesome rum.
Now, what year did you start this company?
We founded in 13 and didn't sell our first bottle until 19. because it took us almost 7 years, because it was actually all of those. But anyway, a good 6 years before we felt like we had a product that was
that you could sell.
Because if it wasn't better than what we thought you could get, then nobody needs a mediocre rum.
No.
So that's what this is.
There's already plenty of those out there in the market, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So then all the flavor that you're getting from the hui hui is coming from this agricole.
Okay.
So this alone could have been its own business. And it's a great business. And there's a business on Oahu called Kuleana that does this, and they do a really good job. And they make a beautiful rum. And so what we're trying to do...
How long have they been around?
I can't speak for them, but they've been around longer than we have.
Okay.
Probably a couple years. I'm not exactly sure.
They're not like super old or anything. I mean,
No, we actually, in the beginning, we were talking about it together, pre-launch, both of us. And I think we were both surprised that we had such a similar idea at the same time. But I think that just goes to show that the market in the world, rum has been wanting to premiumize for decades. And now's its time. And so I think that's where we're at. So this is the agricole. This actually just won a gold medal at San Francisco World Spirits Competition, so we're pretty proud of that. This is just 100% fresh sugarcane juice from Hawaiian heirloom canes.
This is
and
awesome.
we add yeast.
This is awesome.
So tons of flavor, big nose. I like to describe the finish as everlasting gobstopper, right? Because it just goes on and on and on. And
There's
on,
a lot of flavor there.
right?
I mean, there is a lot of
and
flavor.
it transforms.
It does. It just does.
Maybe I'm dating myself.
Oh, no.
You guys have all had
We all
gobstoppers,
know
right?
what you're talking
Okay,
about.
okay.
We're all Willy Wonka.
I'm pretty sure my kids have no idea what a gobstopper is, which is too bad. That's beautiful candy.
So I have to say that because I had a bottle from 2019, that was what I had, and that one was so strong, much stronger as far as like the grassy notes on it. I mean, have you changed? I mean, it's almost been 5 years. You know, have you feel like you've changed things at all?
Totally. So my philosophy is kind of like Porsche. They've had the 911 for 60 years, and it's always been awesome, and they're always making it a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of that's where I want to be.
So you're continuing to fine tune your end product.
It's really, really difficult to make a super consistent product without any processing.
Yeah.
It's fresh juice.
I mean, because I understand what Chris is saying, because when I had this before, there is even, I mean, we got that bottle, I think maybe a year ago or 6 months ago, and I'm not sure what batch that was out of, but this does taste a little bit different. Yeah. But I'm not sure if it's
could be because you're in Hawaii.
It could be. There
Chris
could be a
is kind
lot
of handsome.
different.
It could be like just the glow of him is washing over you.
I'm an influencer.
No, but the point is what we hope for is, we do a lot of taste panel stuff, and we have spider graphs, and we taste every single batch we make, and we try and make sure they're always within whatever our definition of what it needs to be.
Right.
And then sometimes it means you get a couple batches and use the one that was a little bit sweeter and the one that was a little bit more floral.
I'm just going to tell you right now, I know of a little tiny group that would be interested if you wanted to send some samples to it, if you were testing something out. You guys know who I'm talking about. And if you wanted like a group of people to sample it for you and give you honest feedback to let you know this is good, this is bad, whatever.
So they'd be actually willing to try alcohol for free?
You know what? I think they would. Would you? You'll have to let us know.
This could be like a new business model, right?
But yeah, I think we can definitely hook you
that'd
up
be super fun.
with about, I don't know, somewhere around 20 people.
Cool.
So, yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Come out with a code for your website, and they can.
Yeah, there you go. But seriously, they'd be a great group. They're really in and passionate about their rums, and I'm sure that they've already tried and used the Just Drinking code. I've ordered some. I'm sure you've already shipped some out, and they're sampling it now. But anything new that you've got coming out?
All right. Well, we have. So we'll
new
talk
stuff
on that
coming?
soon.
Okay.
So
then the next thing we do is we take this agricole, we age it for 18 months in cognac barrels.
Okay.
And then we use that as the body in our nanea and our hokule. So nanea is that feeling of sort of accomplishment and yet still intrigue and yet relaxation after you've done something, right?
Right.
You've taken on your Kuleana, you've done a good job, you're happy with it, and now you can sort of rest. Like when you mow the lawn.
Right.
How tasty is that beer?
Oh yeah, very
Like how
tasty.
good would that beer have tasted? The same beer if you didn't mow the lawn. Not as good.
There's a big difference.
So that's kind of that sort of nanea kind of can mean that. It's just this sort of satisfied, intrigued sensation.
You get the work done, and then you can enjoy.
Like,
right?
let's say you sailed, out into the unknown and actually discovered a new island and settled it. So that's why this name is for it. But that's also, we hope, the sensation that you get when you have this.
Yeah.
And the idea of this one is this is a properly aged rum, which means no colors.
Chris is up there.
Nearby.
He's like, yeah. Let me help you out there, Steve. Let me help you out, man.
No colors, no flavors, no sugars. So the only thing in here, so we get, there's 5 different rums in here based around our aged agricole. And what we're trying to do is show what a properly aged rum tastes like. And it's really hard to find a rum in the American market that's aged without any additives.
I love that rum.
Yeah.
So it's. Well, I was telling Matt last night. I said, prior to ever doing the Joy of Drinking or anything, the only alcohol we probably ever bought was just, whatever was just at the store, and that means, Bacardis, things like that. So if you got a white rum, it was Bacardi White. If you got a gold rum, it was a Bacardi Gold. And the only thing you knew about those were that maybe that was.
Mix them.
Yeah, maybe that was the aged. It's like, oh, it's gold, so that must mean it was aged. And then, we did the Zoom. That was when we first did this. You sent me the samples with the Zoom, and you told us this is an aged rum, and it has nothing in it. The only color you see is because of the aging process in the barrels. That's the color.
Exactly.
And it was like, oh, that's what a rum is supposed to taste like. Like, this is what, when they talk about like good aged rums,
That's this.
that's this. And it's like, doesn't have this like plasticky or metallic finish to it that I feel like a lot of these other rums may have. So I mean, we love this rum.
That's great, yeah. And so to the cocktail thing, this is for old fashions. This is for Manhattans, Boulevardiers, anything that you might use a rye or bourbon or any whiskey in. This is an amazing. Yeah. It's like being an artist and getting a new set of paints. You're like, where did these colors come from? So that's what we're trying to do.
And that's the great thing at the Rum Shack is that you are drinking cocktails that are all made with rum, but are cocktails that you normally would not drink with rum.
Right.
And they're fantastic. The flavors, the way they're created, you feel
rum
like
period.
That you're
Rum
drinking,
period.
You wouldn't realize, oh, that was rum that was in there, but just the flavor is fantastic
Right.
in those cocktails.
Good.
So Chris, you were talking when you started Joy of Drinking Instagram, you pretty much went out and got whatever was out there, right? I mean, you felt like it was a limited market, right?
I always tell people these large companies, they did a great job at marketing because they've convinced you, Smirnoff, Absolute, Captain Morgan, Bacardi, Jack Daniels, they've convinced you that this is the only alcohol that exists out there, and you go to the liquor store or you go to the grocery store, depending on the state you live in, that has and you've never heard of anything else, so you go, oh, I'm gonna buy. Oh, what's this stuff? Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I better not get it.
Bacardi, because you've seen a million commercials, and Super Bowl ads, and whatever, and people are laughing and having a great time.
So it must be the best stuff, right?
Exactly. So you've been convinced, and nobody else has told you to go. And the only people that know about these other things are aficionados. They're the only people you've never heard of Plantation Rum or Dr. Funk or Appleton Estate. You're like, what are these things? I don't know what these things are.
This?
These must be these little tiny.
Must not be very good because they're not on television,
they're
right?
Not on TV, right?
Right. So they must not be very good.
Yes.
So a funny thing. So when we started our channel, Just Drinking, we named it Just Drinking because we thought, okay, well, we'll start out with rum. because there isn't very much out there, and we'll start out with rum, and then we'll move on to bourbons and whiskey, because we're in the Midwest, so that's bourbon and whiskey country right there, right? So we're going to move on to that, where there's a whole field of bourbons and whiskeys, and then we'll probably hit the vodka and tequilas, and not gin, but no offense to gin drinkers, but we started down this road of rum, and we discovered some of these smaller craft distillers. Yeah. And it's like, this is really good. Yeah. And you know what? I drank a lot of this, and I didn't wake up in the morning with a huge hangover. They must be taking all that bad stuff out of there. Maybe they really care about their product that they're putting out there. So we kind of changed our channel a little bit. I don't see us ever moving away from rum, because there's so many fabulous companies out there that actually care about the product that they're putting out there for the consumers like us, right? And it's companies like Kuleana right here. Steve cares about what he's putting out there. He's making those hard choices. He's making those hard decisions. And he wants to put a superior product out there. And when you visit the big island of Hawaii here, and you go into almost any store, any bar, almost any restaurant, you're going to find one of these bottles there. And to me, that's really cool, especially when you don't find the Bacardi, you don't find the Captain. That really says something, right? So
no, and that's our challenge, right? Is how do we share the love? So that's why we really appreciate this. We're in 14 states now, and slowly
that's awesome.
growing. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close.
You need to get in.
We're getting close.
Just saying.
All right, and then this last one is the Big Sipper. So this one is designed, and this is a big, bold statement. This one's designed to show that rum can be as good or better than any spirit you've ever had.
I will say that one right there is the first one that was emptied.
Yeah?
we have no more of that.
This is also the most expensive
Yeah,
one.
I was going to say.
So
I never had a bottle. So.
we have 7 different, this is made with 7 different rums, aged between 18 months, which is this in cognac barrels, and 18 years. And there's a funny story about this. So this one, try it against your Stag or Pappy or your Extra Añejo tequila. That's what this is for. Cuba Ice, but we also make what we call baller cocktails with it.
So good.
And so we'll make Vieux Carré, right? Because the cognac notes that come in this from our aging it in the cognac barrels. A funny thing about this, the 18-year-old rum in here. So in our pitch deck when we started the company, we said we want to do for rum what High West did for whiskey. So if any High West fans knows that those guys completely killed it by redefining what a whiskey could be, by coming up with these amazing blends. And at first there was a lot of pushback because people are like, what do you mean you're blending? And then it turned out that they were actually making these innovative products that you couldn't get, period. And so we love that idea, and that's what we're doing here. And in our pitch deck, we referred to that, and somebody gave our pitch deck to David Perkins, who was the founder of High West. And so we're a little embarrassed when he showed up here.
So he showed up here.
He physically came
No kidding.
to Hawaii and to check us out. And he had just sold High West to Constellation Brands for a pretty penny. They did a great job. And then, long story short, liked what he saw. He joined us. He sits on our board. He's an advisor. He's a big part of our blending program. He has this world-class palate.
Yeah.
So we send samples to him every week. And when Hokulea came out after these 3, because it took us forever to try and figure out how we were really going to get there. And it turned out that the 18-year-old rum that's in here we got from Trinidad. As we get these rums, we just interview rums, if you will, from all over the world that no colors, no flavors, no sugars, that aren't available as finished products, but they're ingredients. And we'll sort of make these spreadsheets and describe them and catalog that spreadsheet in case we're looking for, whatever. And the 18-year-old Trinidad was like wet cat food and like old dirty dish towel. And we were like busting out thesauruses to like
Yeah.
out insult each other. We were just like you couldn't come up with anything nasty enough to write in that description that everybody wouldn't agree with.
Really?
And so we're just having a great time with it, you know. And so it was like, you know, the one we love to hate.
Yeah.
And so
That's the 18-year-old.
that was this 18-year-old Trinidad
On its own.
on its
On
own.
its own.
And then so Perkins is like, watch this, and he puts a little bit into our blend as we're getting really close. We're like,
Right.
yeah. And he puts like, it's like 1%, 2%. I can't remember exactly what we use. Actually, I can, but I'm not going to tell you. And puts it in, and we're just like, wow. And it was amazing. And so, A, he's got this world-class palate, and
Right.
B, he knows. And he's like, you know what? It's kind of like that mole on Cindy Crawford's face. Right? If her whole face were covered in moles, she wouldn't be Cindy Crawford.
Right.
If she didn't have a mole, she wouldn't be Cindy Crawford.
The beauty mark.
But that one mole, right where it is, it's like, wow. That makes her way more interesting.
Gets
and that's
her
why
noticed,
she's Cindy
right?
Crawford.
Yep.
So, you know, cheers to that, because that's just one of the things. I mean, but it's that level of detail that we go over, and that's, you know, that's what we're trying to do there. Because we want to, you know, I want to take an ad out in the Wall Street Journal that says the world's best whiskey, and just have a picture of this bottle. And they get a whole new email inbox that just filled up with hate, you know, just like. But when they try it, they're like, you know, maybe they agree, maybe they don't agree, but at least they'll get it. Right? They go, okay.
I think it's cool. I think
okay,
that's a great
understand that.
idea.
Yeah. So anybody want to send $114,000 to me, and
Nope.
I'll pay for the ad.
Push it out there.
P.O. Box.
There might be
Zero.
somebody out there.
What's the? Do you describe the 7 that are in here?
Yeah. So everything is on the back of the bottle. We describe, and we actually show the base, body, and accent terminology on there, and we actually say which ones we used and why we used those.
Awesome.
So
It just
full
has the
disclosure.
smokiness with it.
A little bit of smoke.
Yeah.
I like there's like caramely, you know,
Yes.
it's like got this like sweet, cloying, you know, like, but it's not over, you know, because it's good. It's got that.
It just really embraces you.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like-
this
it's
really
like-
just embraces you.
Yeah, and I think like you said, like it's like what you would do with a whiskey. You know, what would you take a nice whiskey and do with it? You know, like a Manhattan or
Yep.
like an old fashioned. You know, just something that you could just
Or
make
block of
beautiful.
ice.
Yeah.
So yeah, this got double gold at the New York World Spirits Competition. And actually just a couple days ago, it got 96 points from BTI and a platinum medal.
Wow.
So we're super stoked for that. And this was actually named top 100 spirits of the year by Wine Enthusiast magazine. And then when we double clicked in there, this was the 3rd highest rated rum.
Really?
Yeah.
That is very cool.
So yeah, so we're excited. So we just
You should
want
be
people
very
to enjoy
proud
rum.
of what you've accomplished here.
When it's in every bar in the country, then we'll sit back. My job is to drink a Kuleana cocktail at every bar in the U.S.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna add that to my corporate goals.
There you go. And what do people say when they come to the Rum Shack and they try these? Like, what have you heard over the years?
Well, I mean, honestly, that's the point of the Rum Shack.
Yeah. I know. It's your tasting room.
Yeah, it's a huge tasting room for a small spirits brand to be able to get to 70,000 people a year.
Yeah.
That's
I w-
kind of like,
I wish every craft distillery like you guys
Right.
could do something.
oh,
like
it's
that,
brutal though.
because it is. Like
It's a great way to lose $45,000 a month.
Well, I was gonna say, you said a minute ago how you do what no distillery does, which is grow
Right,
all the bottles,
right,
everything, and
right.
then I'm gonna run a restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's
So you're taking it all the way from the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
From literally ground up.
Yes.
Right. You're growing your own sugar
From
cane.
the soil.
You're distilling your own spirits. You're selling it at your restaurant.
Yeah. And we
Right.
import spirits from all over the world. Oh yeah, so that's a kind of a cool
So
program.
you're
that we-
just a glutton for
Yeah,
punishment.
Yeah, gluttons for punishment for sure.
That Jamaican stuff.
So here, yeah.
Get the taste. There was $100 a shot or whatever that I did not go to.
Oh,
So
wow.
for example,
I'm not joking.
and we're not trying this today because this is bottle number 1.
Yes.
and they're gone.
Yeah.
So what we did though is, as we discover rums from all over the place, the ones that are extremely special, we'll put like a double asterisk next to. So this stuff is an 11-year-old Jamaican rum. So anybody who's a fan of Jamaican rums knows how hard it is to get one that's been aged this long and is this amazing. And we only found 1 barrel of it. So it wasn't enough to actually use as an ingredient for any of our other rums.
With, right?
But it's so good we bought it anyway. And then our philosophy is this is what you would do in Hawaii and other places, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If you're going someplace and you find something cool, you bring it back and share it with your friends.
Absolutely.
So that's what we did. So we bought the barrel and we poured it into however many bottles it filled. We didn't add any water. We didn't do anything to it except pour it into bottles. And it turned out there was 188 bottles of it. And we sold it. So it's gone in a month.
Oh no.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we're actually going to come out with the next one that we're going to release in about a month is a
In a month?
15-year-old Panamanian rum.
Okay.
And it's just like,
I
what?
was really hoping maybe.
Actually, the tasting
I
notes.
was hoping you had
Here's the
something
tasting
special.
notes for it.
Orange.
So we actually just came up with it. So the nose is orange oil, spices, and beach bonfire.
Oh man.
Wow.
The taste
Barbecue
is
cherry.
the taste was warm caramel, maple syrup, and dark fruit. And then the finish, you get barbecue, cherry, and fruit leather.
Sounds good.
All right.
It's kind of amazing.
So when will that be available?
June.
June.
Rum Shack only.
And I don't know.
Oh, you're killing me.
No, yeah, Rum Shack only.
So I can't buy a bottle online or anything like
Maybe
that?
you know a guy.
All right.
But you definitely can't buy a bottle online.
All right.
I don't know any other company.
Write a letter.
that does that, you know, that is like
P.O.
saying-
Box 2493.
I mean, it's amazing. I don't know any other distillery that's doing what you guys are doing, which is sharing a find like that. 'Cause
Right.
I think another distillery would say,
Yes.
we found an amazing barrel of this spirit, and we're going to make a blend and release
Yes.
it as our own spirit with this backing. you know,
And
somewhere.
spread it out.
Right.
Yeah,
Spread it
yeah,
out
not
further,
go,
right?
Hey, let's just share this one. There's
Yeah.
one unique barrel. We found it. Let's go ahead
It
and
just deserves
bottle
its
it
own
up,
bottling.
you know, and put a label on it and call it great.
But
you know, and
see
it's-
that kind of goes along with the theory that rum is fun, and invite your friends, invite your family over. Hey, you got to try this.
Yeah.
You got to try this. This
Yeah.
is amazing, right?
Right.
And that's really what Steve's doing.
Right.
Well, and who else has, when's the last time you talked to a rum distributor and asked them how many barrels in the warehouse in Jamaica or Trinidad or
Yep.
Guyana that they had sitting around that you could just, can you send me some?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have all the connections. You have to
You
have
do.
already established.
You have to be an importer because only suppliers can buy
Yeah.
the rum, and then they have to decide to sell it to a distributor.
Yeah.
And that's not a great business.
Yeah, you're.
But it doesn't
hopefully
matter
you make
because
some money off of that,
a
but-
great business for us is people realize that we care so much about rum that they start looking at us as some of the pioneers of rum 2.0, right? Let's bring rum back. And so if we start, I'm a fan in altruistic greed. If we do a really good job of being nice to people and sharing,
Yeah.
then we'll be rewarded, right? Hard choice,
Right,
easy
right,
life.
right, exactly,
So we're willing to
exactly.
buy the barrel, bottle it, and then we think that people will go, oh my gosh, this stuff is great. What else do they do? What else do they do? And then that makes these blends even more interesting because they realize this kind of stuff is in these types of blends. I'll be honest with you, like this has a 13-year-old Jamaican that we did hog, and we could get enough of that we could use
Yeah,
in here,
yeah.
for example.
Which is what you would normally do. You'd say, I found a great source. I'm going to go ahead and make something. And
Right.
I may not have
Right.
forever on this, but
Right.
do it. Nobody's going to say, I can only do one rum.
If you come over to the barbecue, you're going to get a little piece of that brisket.
Yeah.
So
But
there you go.
that's the-
If you come on down to the Rum Shack, you get a little piece of the brisket. But if you're not willing to hang out with the pitmaster and have a beer with him, that's on you.
But I feel so
Tips
much
to
of
all
this-
kids out there. Always go have a beer with the guy at the barbecue.
So much of this, I think, is from you being raised here in Hawaii.
Right.
And the way Hawaii.
This is how you do
molds
things.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how you do things.
The culture of Hawaii.
Everybody's your family. Everybody.
Right.
You take care of everybody, and the way you embraced Kuleana, what that word means.
Right.
Because these Hawaiian words they mean a paragraph. They don't mean
Right.
one thing. So when you
Yeah.
read into what this word means, that's what you're doing. You
Right.
have this Kuleana in so many ways, in the way you're taking care of the land, you're growing your sugar cane, you're producing your product, and you're sharing the things that you find. That's the Kuleana of all of this.
Right. And that's, I mean, those 3 words you just said, discover, make, and share, those are the 3 core words. That's how social media works.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
That's how everything works. And so our business, that's actually the first 3 words in our mission statement. Discover, make, and share world-class rum, and celebrate Hawaii in everything we do. And my thinking is, regardless of what the business is if you're good at discover, make, and sharing, then what you share will be the next person's discovery.
Right.
And if their discovery
keeps-
is good enough, then they're going to make something with their new discovery,
Yeah,
and then
it
they're going to
just
share
keeps
that
going.
with their
It
friends,
just
and it
keeps going,
becomes this
right?
perpetual motion.
Right.
And then, if it's altruistic and if it's got goodness baked into it, and people want to.
That you touched on something that so I'm going to take a minute here. I'm going to say thank you very much to my beautiful wife, Diane. She is our camera person today, and we're actually visiting the Big Island of Hawaii for our 35th wedding anniversary.
Ooh.
So I really wanted to
anniversary.
say thank you very much
Cheers.
for doing this for the channel and for everybody out there, so we can kind of share what we're learning about Kuleana today. Rachel, you touched on something, and I think you call it here Ohana family, right? And that's really kind of what Steve is really embracing. That's really what you were talking about and explaining, was the family, the Ohana aspect of this company. And if you've never visited Hawaii, you absolutely have to make it a bucket list choice. You've got to come here. You've got to talk with some of the people, and you'll realize that it is a different mindset. It's a different culture, and it's a wonderful thing. It really is. The people here are truly wonderful, and it's something that you really have to experience. So that's all I want to say.
That's good. Agree.
Yeah, I really love it here. I think you all have something very, very special. I really do. Very envious. You should be very proud of where you're at and what you're doing.
Yeah, we're all just in the middle of just trying to celebrate how cool this is, and I think this is a good time in the world when COVID kind of helped people realize stuff can be tenuous and what really does matter. And so, this is sort of what Hawaii's always been about, and this is the culture of Hawaii. It's this multi-generational mindset. So
one thing you noticed is that you saw Kuleana rum in all the places you went.
Oh yes,
Well,
absolutely.
It's no coincidence because this is a Hawaiian-made rum,
Yeah,
and you're in the Big Island.
in the Big Island, right?
Everybody in Hawaii wants to support another Hawaii business.
Yep.
And so they would rather put a Hawaiian-made product in front of you versus a mainland product. Honestly, I
Yep.
mean,
Absolutely.
or anywhere else. So that's another thing is that everywhere you go in Hawaii, you're going to see Hawaiian-made products, promoted to you. And if Steve goes over to one of the businesses and says, "Hey, we make this product here in Hawaii. Would you guys be willing to?" Yes, please. Let's stop it for you because we want to make you succeed.
Yes.
You're trying to do something. We want to make you succeed because Steve would do the same.
Yeah.
Can you put something in the shack that would be another? Yes. Are you a Hawaiian business? Yes. Just bring you in and try to promote you too.
yeah, and then our Kuleana is not just carry us because we're from Hawaii, but to actually offer them a product that makes their business better because it's a great product,
Yeah.
rather than just, it's got the Hawaii sticker on it.
Right.
So that's the real challenge, is how do you make something that's as good or better than anywhere, and then we can all be proud.
Yes. This has been an amazing tour. I'm going to close this down right now. I think we're at a good stopping point. Steve, thank you so very
pleasure.
much.
Thanks for coming.
For inviting us
Happy
out.
anniversary.
Thank you. And thank you so much for inviting us out for the tour. Chris,
Nice to meet you guys.
it's great to meet you. Please check out Joy of Drinking Instagram, and he's right here. He's located on the Big Island as well. And this has been a lot of fun hanging out with both of you today. This has been great. So thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.